Hi everybody, welcome back in my studio in beautiful Barcelona. Tonight we're going to dive into something really interesting, LimitOne, the brand new digital limiter plugin from Leapwing Audio. You might be thinking at this point, what do you mean, another plugin limiter? And you'd be right, because there's plenty of them on the market. But LimitOne stands out for a couple of reasons. First of all, at Leapwing they took a unique approach into realizing the actual limiting action. And secondly, I like the interface a lot. It's clear and it's easy to use. And third, it doesn't really have a sound. It's very transparent. And it's something, transparency in limiting is something that we do appreciate a lot. So what does a limiter do in general? So a limiter ensures that the output level never exceeds a certain specific value that you decide, called ceiling. At the same time, it gives you the option to drive the input, so to gain loudness, to get the program material louder. And if internally the level exceeds the ceiling, the limiter takes care of it by applying gain reduction. And exactly this process of gain reduction, the way it's realized, it makes a limiter to sound different than another. And under this point of view, Leapwing, they took a unique approach because they wrote a couple of algorithms that work together seamlessly under the hood to, realize the limiting process. So, talking about controls, I've got them here. Drive and ceiling are the controls that I just described. So drive gains in the input and ceiling is your output level, maximum output level. Then we got three more controls, the clipping, the stereo link, and the tilt. Clipping will be the attitude of the plugin, where 0 is a transparent action. And as you dial in more clipping, you get a bit more of a color sound, aggressive, you name it. I always encourage you to use your ears and experiment a little bit. Stereo link links the operation of gain reduction between left and right. And tilt eventually is some form of sidechain control that translates into a different frequency response of the plugin. So in other words, as you dial a different tilt value, you will have more or less bass go through and more or less highs, to go through. It kind of tilts the response. It's not really an EQ, it's more like a sidechain control. Again, try to understand more exactly what it does. So tonight I'm working on a mix and it's pretty much done, and it's now time to raise the output levels to make it ready to send, to the artist for revision, for example, check, to colleagues for feedback, gathering opinions around is always important in audio. So as a traditional approach in mixing, I've got my channels, I've got my subgroups, and I've got my master bus. So the first example is just LimitOne on the master bus, about 6 dBs of gain. Boom, bring up the level, LimitOne is doing its thing, and there you go. But as I like to get creative, I thought, how about we distribute the workload of just one LimitOne on the master bus, we distribute these on the various groups. So instead of just one LimitOne instance on the master bus, on the second example, I'm going to have LimitOne loaded on each group and tweak differently for each group. And eventually on the master bus, again, another, instance of LimitOne to just take care of the peak level. So to just do the peak control. Let's take a listen first, and let's go. Nice. Now I'm going to switch off LimitOne on the master bus, the single instance, and turn on all the other instances. So LimitOne on each group plus peak control the master bus, and check again and try to focus this time on how the drums and the vocals interact. And let's take a listen. Really cool. You could see my smile. Well, the main difference is that now the drums, in the second example, the drums are more under control. They are tighter and they leave room for the vocals to sit just on top. So everything is a bit clearer, the definition is higher. And at the same time, when the bass kicks in, there's a bit of a, extra tightness there as well, introduced by the limiting action. So at this point, let's take a look real quick to the settings that I applied on each group. I've got here beats, Transient material, as you can see, a lot of clipping, decent stereo link, and almost no tilting, mostly because I wanted the plugin to just get aggressive on those transient points, on those drums, and like tighten them. Then when we got bass, as opposite to the drums, the bass is now a low frequency, mostly sustained kind of information, so avoid clipping, but rather use a dose of tilt to enhance the bass response, as you can see. Also, there is a bit more gain applied here, 7 dBs against a -1 ceiling, keeping the 6 dBs of gain throughout, but a different gain staging. So, what we have synths. Synths do use pretty much standard, settings. I wanted the synths to just be transparently controlled, so drive was 6.9 and ceiling was 0.9-, almost no tweaks of the extra 3 parameters. Vocals, quite a dose of drive because I wanted the limiting action to really push. 3 dBs of the output minus to, same reason, 6 dBs of gain throughout. Quite a dose of clipping and stereo link almost 100 because I want the vocals to be tight in the center and tilting going toward the high frequencies. And last but not least, on the master bus, as you can see here, there is no gain, no drive, but just ceiling set to control the big point. So at this point, we're going to take another listen. I'm going to let it roll and let's go. All right, so really cool. I encourage you to experiment with this technique. Consider limiting like a mixing tool as well, not only as a mastering tool. So, thanks for watching. I will be seeing you in the next video.